is Chan from DifferenceInSkill, and I'm bringing you a video about the mulligan rule. So it's not really teaching you how to do it, because I'm sure everyone already knows how to do it. So first of all, this is not going to be like set into stone, so like if you play this deck you have to do this. It'll be a more general, more like everyone can apply this to their mulligan and whatnot. Well, sometimes. So first of all, you gotta know how to prioritize, alright? Do you have a win condition? Maybe like a specific win condition. So some examples would be like, okay, Reggie cheese. So like when you want to keep them low damage, so you can pressure them with Reggie at 3 damage. So that's a game plan, that's a win condition. Because, you know, and like I don't mean like attacking you is a win condition, like a specific one. Maybe like, I don't know, like Gancelot cheese. Like I need to open with Gancelot and a Blaster Blade or else I will not win. So you gotta prioritize things like win conditions, alright? So second thing is there anything gimmicky your deck can do that you want? Well, like, let's say in my Spectral Dunk Bunnies, or Garmal and his bunny squad, so say I need to Superior Ride Pelennor off the top of my deck, but I drew one, so I'm going to shuffle it away. So it's a game plan that you want to achieve, so, you know, just make sure you try to mulligan your way into it. Of course, this all seems very natural. Like, oh yeah, I need this in my deck, better ship it away. Easy, right? So, first of all, I'm going to go through some examples, alright? Some examples of this. Especially ride chains, alright? So, okay, say you start with this, and you're playing the Spectral Duke. Oh, I realized I didn't, damn it, I didn't grab the level 2 Spectral. God damn it, my chair's stuck. Alright, be right back. Where are you, Spectral 2? Here you go, here's Spectral 2. Alright. Say you're playing Spectral Duke Dragon, and then you open your hand, kind of like, let's pick up some different cards from other places. Okay, this is your opening hand. Of course, some of the cards are not sleeved, but it's okay. So, let's think about this. If I'm playing Spectral Duke, and I do not get the ride chain, well, what am I going to do? Well, first, he's going to move back, and going to be a 4K useless booster. And then I'm not going to have much of a game plan anymore. So how important is the ride chain to you? Very important. So I will keep this, it's part of the ride chain, and ship away my whole hand. Because I don't need the rest of the cards. I'd rather get Great Stock, because it's basically like, oh yeah, I'll get Great Stock, and I'll risk it. Because drawing back 4 cards, you're basically drawing back 5 cards. There's a good chance you'll draw into at least a grade 1, and then you have a grade 2. So taking the chances for a ride chain deck is very useful. Like I always ship away my whole hand if I don't have any pieces. So say, okay, I even have him. Alright, I'll keep him and I'll ship away all these cards. Because really, for ride chain decks, especially something like Spectral Duke, if you don't get the ride chain off, your game plan is all skewed, and you might just ride a 10k Spectral Duke that has the effect of Limit Break, but what good did it do, right? Because normal Gold Paladins, all their counterblast use comes from like straight pluses off Garmal, so you can't do that. Or you could, but then you'll be running like, you know, hybrids and meh. You gotta splash this, gotta use these, and. So yeah. Okay, so say a hand like this, keep him. Alright, now let's say you had a good hand. You had a good hand, alright? Let's make this. Alright, let's make this hand. Okay, this hand is great. I have the level 1, the level 2, a Perfect Guard, a Bowman, and a level 3. Great. So, would I shuffle away anything? Yeah, of course, I'd shuffle away these. Why? Because it's not part of my chain. I mean, there is a grade 3 here, and you'd be like, yo, what if you get grade stock? Because you're shuffling with grade 3. Well, first of all, you have a lot of turns to get to grade 3. You got 1, 2, and maybe your 3rd turn. So that's like 3 cards you draw off singly drawing, and then probably 2 to 3 drive checks depending if you go 1st or 2nd. So it is pretty, you know, it's a good chance that you'll draw into one, and if not, you can even have him look for one off the top of your deck. So why would I keep Gigantic Destroyer after working so hard to get these two specific cards to my hand, right? Go big or go home, guys. Especially if you're playing, ride chains. It's important. Just go ride, and like you shuffle these guys away, and then you drew into like this back, and then like I don't know, a trigger, and you're like, welp, and I only have 5 cards in hand because I'm bad. And another trigger. Hell yeah. And you're like, welp. You ride, you look, and you get your spectral. Yay. Or if not, hopefully you'll draw into it. If you don't, well, that's how this game goes, and you'll be grade stuck. But, gotta take the risk. Because especially for Spectral, especially for Spectral, your ride chain is so great that it's worth every penny to, like, invest your whole game into it. It's like, okay, nope, don't need these, shuffle. Don't need these, shuffle. So, yeah. If this gets you grade stuck or lose, don't blame me, bro. Don't blame me. It's not my fault. So, that's for ride chains. If your ride chain isn't extremely important, aka, like, Angel Feather shitty ass ride chain, then who cares? It's Angel Feather, alright? Its ride chain sucks. Don't even need it. Or something like what other ride chains are there in this game right now that suck? No, I think that's about it. I can't think of one. Yeah, I can't really think of one. But for like Bermuda, Riviere, that ride chain is amazing. You draw a free card every time you ride. So, yeah, I'd probably invest most of my hand into it. Like, shuffle away everything else that's not, not what I need. Okay, now let's go on to some more examples of Mulligan. So, let's say deck composition. So, in my Blade Wing Reshi, this deck, I run 8 grade 2s. So, and I run 7 grade 3s and like 18 grade 1s. Something crazy, like it's like 16 or 18, which is a lot of grade 1s. So, let's say for example my opening hand is this, alright? And you're like, okay, I have no grade 2. Meh. And then you're like, oh, well, I have a Mon, I have my level 3, and, well, I got some triggers. Better shuffle away these 2. And, maybe some of these, but I don't want to draw. Wait, I cheated. I started with 6 card hand. Oh, I don't want to draw. But then, this is how I would mulligan. I have a Mon, but he's not my win condition. He's like a side condition, so I don't want him. I don't need triggers in my hand, and I only need 1 level 1. I will keep this and shuffle away even my level 3, because I have a greater chance of drawing the level 3 later than risking not opening with the level 2. Because if I go first, right, next turn, that's only 2 cards I get to go through before I have to actually decide, do I get to level 2 or not? But of course you cannot decide this before you mulligan, and then you like rock, paper, scissors, roll a dice, etc. So you have actually no control over this. In fact, even if you did know, but that still works, yeah. Yeah, so gotta prioritize, right? So what maybe you're playing like, okay, I played 9 grade 3s. I'm going to shuffle away all my grade 3s because I know I'm going to draw one. Or if you're playing Superior Ride, like simply like this Garmal deck who runs Superior Rides, or even like Azel, Incandescent Lion Blonde Azel. You can keep like, okay, I don't have a grade 3, but I did get a Bowman and a Gareth, so I don't even need a grade 3. Better optimize my hand by shuffling away everything else that's not the Bowman and the Gareth, right? So, yep. So that's for deck composition, and let's talk about choices, really. Choices. So I've drafted a couple of hands. Let's see. Alright. Say this hand. Alright, what about this hand? Well, it has 1, 2, and 3, and a trigger. Well, of course the trigger, you're going away, because you're a draw trigger especially. Alright. So what is my game plan? Well, my game plan is to hopefully Superior Ride Pelennor off the top of my deck via this, or Vivian, or anything else. So I don't want you. But of course you could say, what if you don't draw into grade 3? Well, what about it? I have 4 Pelennors in my deck. I can use him to look for 3, look at the top 3, to search for Pelennor. I also have 4 other Garmals, which I can just draw into. So I have a pretty good chance. And let's say you shuffle, 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 and then you draw. Oh, great. This hand is great. And even if it's like, okay, that's fine. I mean, I took the chance. I want my game plan to stay, because with this game plan, I have a better chance of winning. So, blah, 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 ride, blah, 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 ride, oh, what do you know? I checked this guy back. And you spear ride him. Of course, you cannot determine these things. You can go through the whole game never seeing a Pelennor, and the turn you're about to lose, you drive check both of them. Simple. Things happen like that all the goddamn time. Especially in Vanguard. So, really, there isn't too big of a deal about, shuffling, but, simple things. So let's go to the second scenario hand. This is my hand. I see I have a lot of grade 1s. A grade 2, no grade 3. But like I said, I'm playing the Pelennor build. Then, oh, yeah, that's fine. I don't really need a grade 3. I can probably get into one. But say, like, okay, no, I'm playing a normal deck. I don't use superior rides, so I will simply do the normal thing, keep 1, 2, and shuffle away everything else. But in this hand, I'd just be like, it's not bad, I'll shuffle this away. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Of course, you draw the same card, because that happens every single time you shuffle a single card away. And then you're like, okay, draw for turn, draw for turn, draw for turn. Oh, well, this is inconvenient. And then you have 4 grade 1s in your hand. Now, with 4 grade 1s in your hand, a lot of players, this is not a good thing to do. Say you're going second. Drive check, whatever. Alright. Take damage, next turn. And then you basically wasted a lot of cards. And like, someone might say, how did you waste a lot of cards? You didn't lose anything, because you didn't play any rear guards. Exactly, you didn't play any rear guards. If you have a hand like this is like what we call the grade 1 rush. This is an amazing hand, actually. Because think about it. Who wants to keep triggers in their hand? No one. They're going to shuffle away all their triggers. If they, in fact, get an amazing hand with no triggers in it, hell yeah, you might just win. Okay, say they ride their, okay, whatever, okay, let's find the ace gold opponent gold paladin player. I ride my Gareth because I'm a total sack. And then you're like, okay, cool. And then you're like, I shall raise you my Gareth. And then I'll play a Gareth, a Nimue, a Bunny. Like, okay, so first of all, you look at this field and you're like, wow, you have a lot of shit on your field. And then, okay, what's the Bunny doing there? Well, if you get a trigger, you can put it onto him and attack the Vanguard. Simple. So, okay, this row is bad. There's 2 level 1s in it. No, it's not. It swings for 15. In fact, Nimue even has the ability that needs to be boosted and attacked, so it's perfectly fine. So, when situations arrive, you gotta adapt to it. Okay, you're like, okay, cool. Here's my hand. I have a ride for next turn. This field isn't bad. Alright, so you go attack. Maybe you got a trigger. So, okay, draw trigger, because I'm amazing at this game. Draw into, okay, what else? Oh, a perfect guard. Yay, perfect. Just what I needed. They didn't get a trigger. Okay, attack with this, and attack with this. So, in this turn, you could have done 3 damage, instead of doing 1. Now, these, they're still here. I mean, they're not gonna mysteriously fly away, so it's fine. And especially since they're grade 1s. If you have 2 grade 1s lined up, if they attack one, I'm attacking, okay, that's great, okay, that's fine. And then you're like, I ride, and I guess I'll call something in front. Thanks for fixing my row, bro. So, it doesn't matter if you're gonna say something like, oh yeah, the reason why I don't do it is because I'll minus, because they'll attack my cards. Then why don't you just never play rear guards, bro? Okay, say he took 3 damage. He didn't get a single heal trigger. He took 3 damage. This turn, when you attack, okay, say they killed the Nimue. Alright, alright, attack. They take it. They're at 4 damage now. Attack. They could be at 5. I mean, or they're at 4. And the second you ride to grade 3, you're already pressuring them. Because my crit, you lose. Alright? Simple as that. So, the grade 1 rush is a common strat when people get a hand like this, where you get a lot of grade 1s or 0s, even 0s, especially if you're playing a good deck, aka Kagero, Spike Brothers, or even like if you have a card, like basically when you're starting Vanguard, if it goes into the soul by itself no matter what, like it doesn't rely on you hitting, it's perfectly fine to go perfect guard in this. Here, for example, like this is fine. Because, okay, so I attack with this. Maybe not this. Let's use a different trigger. Oh no, this is the only trigger I brought out. The misplays. The misplays. I would never call a heal. Mainly, draw triggers are the only acceptable triggers to attack with. Or boost with. So you go attack. And then blah 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 blah. You're a grade 2 now. Where's my grade 2? Oh yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Alright, and then you're like, okay, I have an Emblem Master that I want to play. So what I do, Soul Charge. Hey look, my row is fixed. And then you play this here. And then you're like, that row sucks. It only swings for 14. It should be swinging for a good number, like 18 or 17. Because everyone, like, you know, or 19. 19 is like the best number in the world, apparently. That's why, like, 9K boosters are like the most sought after thing in the world. So then you go intercept, okay, next turn I play a card here, 15. That row's good enough. So yeah, when you're playing a deck with a good starting Vanguard, which moves anywhere you want, motherfucker. I knew that was going to happen, and everyone else was probably waiting for it, because it happens like every other video. Cool. Alright, as I was saying, if you're playing a deck with a Vanguard that moves, with the starting Vanguard that moves anywhere, you're safe to put anything you want in front of it. That's generally how it goes. So let's clean these guys up. Clean these guys up. So another thing is like, alright, my hand has a 1, a 2, and a 3, but it looks kind of like this. You see, there's an issue with this. If you go first, you play one card, move back, swing, alright. You know, you're wasting time. And in Vanguard, you know, you don't have much of this time shit, because, you know, the games are so short. So you're like, okay, this is mine, okay, you know, it's fine, whatever. And then, you know, they play a lot of grade 1s, and it's like, oh my god, I can't block, and well, I'll take 3 damage. And then it's like, I don't want that to happen. And then you think about it, and you're just like, whoa, wait, okay, let's see what I have in this hand. I have a card that gives me a +1 when I attack with it, or hit. Got a 10k beater, which is great, 9k, and a Garmal. This hand is fine, to be honest. This hand is fine. There's no reason for you to technically take a chance to draw more triggers than keep a hand that's triggerless and remotely decent. But if you drew a hand like this, now this is a bad hand. Oh, wait, come here, Garmal. Now this is a bad hand. These are so dead for the whole game until, even when you get to grade 3, they're still pretty dead. Like, you play them in the side as 10k beaters, and that's about it. So it's like, okay, this hand really, really sucks. Okay, so shuffle these guys away. You want to keep as many playable cards as you can, because the more cards you can play every turn, the more attacks you can get in, and the more attacks you get in, the more, you know, momentum, advantage, tempo, etc. that you build. So, if you swing for 3 attacks the first turn, they kill some of your rearguards, you swing for 2 attacks next turn. Well, they either need to guard, which costs cards in their hand, or they take damage, which is great. I mean, someone might say, what if you rush them to limit break, and they use Azel's effect to counterblast 2 times in a row, get 2 10Ks, and attack you for 40,000? Then take it, dude. It's probably your 3rd turn. You're probably not at 5 damage yet. Right? So, yeah. Time is not a lot in Vanguard. Yeah. Alright. So, triggers. Do you really want to keep triggers? No. To be honest, you don't. But, say you're playing against a deck that, you know, you might have some troubles. I'm gonna check if the Wingle Braid's still here. Nope, it's not. Alright. So let's imagine for a bit. Actually, no. I can just use my Garmal deck. This works just fine. So my friend... So maybe I've seen some guys start with this card. And if they're starting with this card, they might be playing something fishy. Alright, so let's say I had a hand. Let's make a hand real quick. Like this. Alright. So this is my hand. And I'll take any random next card. Alright, this is a pretty bad hand. So I'll shuffle this away. And godlikely enough, I draw into Garmal because I'm pro. And then, you know, of course, my starting Vanguard would be the same. Because, you know, I run two of the same starting Vanguard. So then, alright, what I'm expecting. He probably runs Vivian. It's a gold paladin deck. There's a lot of 9Ks in gold paladin that are pretty good that you'll probably run. Lop-Ear Shooter, Vivian, Trip is okay, I guess. You know, so it's just like, okay. So what I have in my hand, I have this. I'm glad I got this, and 10k shield. Now I can stop any random Pelennor nonsense at turn 2. So you just go, okay. So I go first. This, he moves back and rides his Gareth because, you know, he got the god hand. He attacks, and, you know, whatever, it's fine. And then on my turn, let's say, okay, yeah, okay. I draw into my own Vivian. Oh, how convenient. Wait a minute. No. Don't ride the Vivian. Don't ride the Vivian. Remember, if you know a deck, especially if it's an on-hit effect, if he has a 14 row, he can attack it with his starting Vanguard and a 9k, which is very common, and, you know, get the specs off. So instead, I'll just like, okay, I'll pass. Bowman, let's go. Let's go, Bowman. Let's do this. And call this on the side. And if they can hit anything, it's, you know, well, you can argue that, but what if he just attacks your rear guard, Vivian? Well, whatever, dude. He just wasted his Vanguard attack to attack your rear guard. Your Vivian became like, what, like 10k, 15k shield for you? And you're worried? No, it's cool, okay. So you put this here. And then next turn, of course, because, you know, he is good at this game, and he's just like, I drew into my Vivian. Hell yeah, ride Vivian. Attack your Vanguard, and then a bad player would be like, no guard. This is probably the easiest attack to guard because it's like 14. You just go 10. One card, if you can guard the Vanguard with one card, it's generally a good idea to just like go guard. 2 to pass, which they can't because they're, you know, not able to drive check twice. So then you prevented Pelennor from, you know, Raffle stomping you for 1 turn, which is great. It cost you 10k to prevent Pelennor from Raffle stomping you. I'd do it. So yeah, might be a bit messy, but this is probably the most prepared video I've ever done. I wrote things on my computer, and I set up cards, hands, and all that, you know. So, you know, give myself a little pat on the back. So yeah, here's my little guide to Mulligan. So I'm probably going to go through some more basic things that people, you know, high caliber players or good players will do. Alright, because honestly, everyone knows Vanguard doesn't take much skill. Need a lot of luck, get a lot of triggers, you'll win a lot of games. That's how this game goes. So yeah,